Okay, so as we saw on a couple of tables, it's quite difficult to execute the challenge and then also be mindful of your technique and keeping things fairly similar. So again, it's important to have some time of just focusing on the technical aspect, like what does this look like, how do I make that look similar, and then try and put it into a challenge. Because when the objective is serve short 3 times and long 1 time, things can end up changing if you're not always mindful of what things are looking like. And that's just an example of the challenge. So we can flip that. Yeah, we could maybe give a little bit more space on the long one. Could you do 3 long ones? And then it puts a bit of pressure on maybe only getting a 2 bounce serve on the short one. Yeah, because you're only having 1 attempt. So you can play around with those challenges to help create different levels of tension. And that just allows you to kind of leak those skills into your match play. It's not the same pressure, of course it's not, but it's just a little bit of tension and a little bit of thought which we go through in those competitive scenarios. Okay, we're going to move on to the first technique, and we'll look at pendulum serve, slightly different. We're going to choices in how we finish. So we'll look at a spin first, and then we'll look at some different finishes, and you can apply the one that you think is more relevant to you. So first of all, we all kind of, does anyone use pendulum serve? Anyone want to use it? Use this type of serve before we're coming across. So using this technique, how do I create backspin? What do I need to do to get backspin on the ball?
Go under the ball.
Okay, so part of it needs to come under the ball or go down the back of the ball at some point. Okay, we need that light contact area. We have this solid contact, we don't get much effect, so we want that light brushing contact too. Yeah. Anything else? Any parts of the body that might help? Maybe?
Hands and wrist.
Yeah, this little snap as part of the wrist here is going to really do a lot of the work. Brushing, really important, probably number 1 on the list. Next is that little snapping acceleration. So, these are the 2 options that we've got for the backswing. We can either come underneath the ball, which is going to slow it down, and we're going to see a bit more of a turn on the table there. So you can see my back's really flat, I'm getting right underneath it. That's what's contributing to that effect on the table. I can also cut down the back of the ball. Still going to be backspin, but there's going to be a bit more pace, and then the turn happens on the floor. So it's the same effect, but there's a couple of different deliveries on it. Right? So again, that one's down the back of the ball here, still snapping the wrist, but there's a little bit more pace. So one's a bit slower, bigger effect, the other one a bit more pace, a bit more distance. And we need both. It's useful to have both. Sometimes people are very bad at returning very short serves. Sometimes it's that hesitation that we're trying to create from an opponent. So good that we're able to make those 2 changes. So that's the backspin variation. Bearing both of those in mind then, how do we get topspin? Over the ball? Up. Okay, so we could come up. So if I'm coming underneath for the backspin here, rather than coming under here, I'm going to pull that back up. Here, almost towards my chest. This is just rolling up the back of the ball here. Now you can see there's not a big turn, the ball's kicking forward. So there's a little bend with the side spin, and then it goes straight. So that's the topspin. So that they'll be receiving topspin. That's one way of lifting the ball up. Yeah. Anything else? What else do we do without topspin?
Speaking of frogs.
In there. What's in there? Arcs less, yeah. So just a little bit more into the table. So one I'm brushing up, the other one I'm pushing forward a little bit. Again, so I'm just trying to match those 2 deliveries of the backspin variation. Okay? So that's how I'm creating a couple of different spins. So if you've not explored the serve too much before, this might be the bit that you work on. You know, producing a couple of different spins, maybe playing around with the distances. Alright? you have done it before and you want to explore a bit of deception, how can we make them look similar like we do to try and merge them together? There's going to be a ton of questions. I'm not going to just tell you things here. Be ready for questions. Okay, absolutely. That is what we're going to try and do. So, yes, we're creating two different spins. Yes, there's going to be two different actions. But once again, can we make them as similar as possible? So for me, the one that's really hard to disguise is this top spin upwards. What are you seeing when I do that one?
Lifting it back.
You're seeing this back lift. Sometimes the elbow comes up as well. So there's these different signals that are hard to disguise. So instead of trying to disguise it, I'll try and use it. So can I create my backspin? And then I'm trying to introduce that elbow lift afterwards. Get one on. So this is them together. This is the top spin. Coming straight forward, and then this is front spin. So they're looking fair. They're similar enough. Good to go. Oh, I'm not sure. There are some differences. I know my own personal giveaway on this one is that when I do the backspin, I tend to turn a bit too much here, whereas on my top spin one, I don't quite turn as much. So that's something that I'm trying to work on. Do I turn the top spin one a little bit more? Do I try and hold back on the backspin? Again, lots of people won't pick up on that, but if I can tighten that up, then it makes it a little bit more effective. So playing around with those finishes is important. The other option with the faster serve, and this is a trickier one, but obviously it might be suitable for some of you. For the backspin one, we were pushing down. How can I get topspin pushing down?
Forward, into the ball, into the table, forwards.
Maybe? Like this? With the backhand? Like this one? So, this is a tough one. So, we're going to go down, but the bat is going to flick upwards. So, as I'm going down, my wrist is going to flick up. Yeah, so they're watching my back go straight down, and they're not seeing that flick of the wrist. Yeah, I want them to watch this big action. Alright, so once again, I do one of each. So, we've got backspin straight down. And then that little flick, top spin there. Both. Yeah, so I'll try and control gravity with this. No, it's, I'll do just the action here. So all that's happening is that this here, then the flick of the wrist here, that's the top spin. Yeah, that's happening within this. So as I'm pushing down, right in the middle, that's happening. And then I carry the stroke on, yeah. So they're just girls, so it's finger in front and they're on the back, and then these fingers are rested on the wrist, on the handle. And for me, that's quite important. They allow me to squeeze here, and that throws the racket forward. Sometimes people have them off, and now everything is on my finger and thumb to do the work. So when these fingers are on the handle, I just find I can get a little bit more bite into the ball, a little bit more variety. Yeah. Maybe a little bit personal to some people, but for me that works. Okay, that's lots of talking from me, so far too much. We'll get you on the tables. Your choice on your particular tables. If you want to integrate this into a rally and see if people are reading it, maybe asking them to push back if it's backspin or flick if they think it's topspin, so you get some feedback. If you want to just play around with the technique, then you absolutely can as well. So I'll leave that to you, and then beyond that we'll start putting them into